Welcome back. Unemployment, hunger, poverty, drugs and overcrowding. This is the image that characterises the plight of Johannesburg's Alexandra township. However, Deputy President David Mabuza believes the ANC can improve their lives. Let's unpack with a panel. We're joined by Moshe Mphahlele, who's the EFF Johannesburg Regional Secretary, who joins us in studio. Tefo Raphadu, who is ANC Zonal Chairperson in Johannesburg, who joins us via Zoom, and also in studio is Nkele Galedzana, a young activist from Alexandra Township. Thank you to the both of you, and of course to Tefo as well, who's joining us online. Nkele, I'd like to start with you as a resident of Alexandra Township as well. We've seen what it's characterized of. We've heard many of the promises. I'm sure you have heard them till your ears have bled. What have you made of the former Deputy President's utterances to say, just hang on, the conditions, your living conditions are going to be made better by an ANC-led government?
I think firstly, let me thank you for inviting me to be part of such a discussion. We need such discussions where young people speak out, in particular in Alexandra. Yeah. You know what? I feel that we were not taken seriously and will never be taken seriously. In particular, by 30 years government that said they will give us freedom, they will change the way we live. I mean, like in 2016, if I'm not mistaken, the president came, Cyril Ramaphosa, to Alexandra and promised the people of Alexandra, you know, hope and promised them houses. But till today, people are living in such, you know, very wrong conditions, you know, conditions that not even an individual who themselves, who's leading the society would live in. I think one day we should actually challenge them to go in the very same shacks, to go live in Alexandra just for one day, and they would see that those conditions are not conditions that a human would live in. So I'm very angry with his comment, because as a young person from Alexandra, when you say do not despair, what do you mean? Are you saying we must just chill and sit back while we have issues? Those issues are continuing with building up each and every single day. We're having more issues and more issues that are building up as young people in Alexandra, as the entire community of Alexandra. So the ANC for me, no. Yeah. We really need to make a change with people who are coming to promise us each and every time, but not implementing. Honestly, we really need a change.
And just paint that picture for us, you know, for what it's like to receive such empty promises and live in the reality of Alexandra. What is it like on a day-to-day?
Oh, on a day-to-day basis, you know, there's individuals, firstly, who have to go to pipes, line up in pipes so that they can get water, number one, who are still using bucket systems, you know. The bucket systems that in other places we're seeing kids badala within those bucket systems and falling within them. Imagine if that situation could happen in Alexandra. It's very painful. Yes, I'm maybe in a better condition, but the other people, I mean, we can't be standing and saying as a leader to say, I'm proud of where I am, you know, I'm proud of what my government has done, but there are people that I see on a daily basis, people with good futures who are sitting in these conditions and who are using bucket systems. I was telling one of my colleagues at work that, you know what, we still have bucket systems in Alexandra. And she's like, wow, really?
In 2024?
Yeah, in 2024. It's quite a sad situation. And when they come to basically, you know, come and maintain it, you know, that smell that comes within your household. I mean, for a person 30 years into democracy, is that really a picture that is nice for you? Sitting as a leader where you're sitting and you can only just, you know, go to another room. Maybe you've got 10 toilets within your household, but then you come back and tell us that it will be better. How will it be better?
How will it be better? And I want to give Tefo an opportunity to answer that question as well when we come back from the break, so do stay with us. Welcome back. We're still in discussion with our panelists who are joined by Moshe Mphahlele, who's the EFF Johannesburg Regional Secretary, Tefo Raphadu, who is the ANC Zonal Chairperson in Johannesburg, as well as Nkele Galedzana, a young activist from Alexandra Township. Now, Tefo, I'd like you to come in there. Before the break, Nkele painted a very grim reality for residents in Alexandra as well, with repeated promises as well, deplorable conditions, and of course the bucket system in 2024. What do you have to say for yourselves as the ANC?
Thank you very much for inviting me to this panel discussion. I think what Nkele is painting is a need that the ANC needs to do more. I think it's an expectation that we need to do more. That's why the ANC is continuing to play its role in making sure that it changes the fabric of society, more especially in Alex. You must remember where we come from, that Alex was one of the townships that were supposed to be forcibly removed by the apartheid government. And after the people of Alex stood up to fight for Alex to stay, the then apartheid government could not continue to service Alex. And in the last 30 years, I'm sure she can attest to that and agree that Alex is a better place. Yes, where the picture that she's painting is in informal settlements, and the migration problem that is plaguing Johannesburg will necessitate that people will find themselves moving to Johannesburg. Then the government has to follow them with the services that they need to render. Then there will be toilets, the bucket systems that are there. But we as the ANC and the government and the councillors there are embarking on changing that situation, so that those people that are living in informal settlements get better services. And our councillors on the ground are making sure that programs are there to make sure that all these things are eradicated. And it's a plan for the ANC that we need to do more. And we agree that, yes, in the last 30 years, there's been missteps, but we want to make sure and guarantee to our people that that is work in progress. Every project that you undertake, there will be missteps. And as the ANC, we accept that, but there is progress that we are doing in making sure that we eradicate that situation that Nkele is painting, and more especially in our informal settlement that is there. But generally, in Alex, in the last 30 years, the picture has changed. Those who live in Alex will know that before 1994, there was not a lot of informal housing that was there. And I think over 18,000 housing opportunities have been created. And there is Far East Bank, there's Extension 10, there is the new police station, there's Tsutsumani, to make sure that we move our people out of those situations and put them into formal housing.
You call them missteps there. I mean, the bucket system in 2024, surely that is not a misstep. I'm actually going to get Nkele in there because she's vehemently shaking her head here in studio as you speak. You mentioned that you've made progress in changing the fabric of townships, that it's a better place as well. Nkele, what do you have to say?
It's sad. It's sad, you know. It's very sad. There's nothing better. It's getting worse. There's nothing better. And in fact, he knows very well. In 2021, I stood as an independent candidate because of very such things. That the ANC is promising countlessly, but they are not bringing that progress. Firstly, that one. Councillors are failing us dismally, in fact. They are not doing their jobs at all, but instead they're looking at their pockets. That's the reality of it, especially in Alexandra. So I think it's time the ANC comes when they have interviews, and they must be transparent and true as to what is the reality that is happening, in particular in Alexandra. So when Tefo speaks, you know, the things that he's speaking are not speaking to me as an individual and as a resident of Alexandra.
Somebody who's living there. Yeah.
Yes, there are things that he was told to go and speak, so he paints a better picture for election time. Yes, we're in election mode, but let them put the things to practice right now. Let them implement. They've been in government for 30 years, 30 full years, but nothing has changed. We've voted for them into local, and we've voted into them into national and provincial for years, 30 full years, honestly. And in terms of immigrants, you know, that whole story, we go back to the ARP. Let us speak about the ARP. Yes, they say we can do better. What happened with the ARP? Where else? ANC officials were implicated in the very same ARP. Yes, he's saying that people should be looking at where they come from. Majority of them who are implicated in there are leaders within the ANC, and they come from the very same Alexandra. So what is the ANC painting to us right now?
Moshe, this seems like fertile ground for the EFF to shine. Why haven't you been able to snag it completely and steal the hearts of Alexandra's township residents?
Yes, because as EFF, we come with solutions. We've been crying, we've been doing, we've been marching, but as EFF, we've built toilets, from bucket system toilet to toilet. Us as ground forces, us on the ground, come together and said, let's contribute. There's no toilet on this. So at 6 number 59, we've built a toilet as EFF, flushing toilets, because we don't understand what's the problem, because there's a sewer system below in Alexandra. And why can't we just build instead of bringing this bucket system toilet, why can't they just build? But no, they can't, because it's a contract. It's somebody's tender, those bucket system toilet. Some comrade has to eat on those bucket system toilet. And you can't talk, we've been talking with corrupt people, such as individual which is interviewed right now. So one of those corrupt people, we've had Alex Mafias. When we talk about Alex Renewal Project, he was one of those who were working at Alex Renewal Project before he became a councillor. So now when you ask about where did the money go, she knows exactly where the money go. She knows where the people he gave to the houses in Tsutsuman. And he come back and release the very same list that these and these people were removed from such an area to Extension 10, and they are foreign nationals. Now we formed this thing called Dudula to go and remove the very same people that they put as Alex Renewal Project. Because they said this place is earmarked for a sports facility for schools. Even today, there's no sports facility at 13 at Minerva. There's nothing. It's just a vacant land where they remove people, they put them into RDP houses. They say the other ones will be tenant, the other ones will be the landlord. All of us are living in an RDP house, but the next door neighbor must be my landlord. That's how incompetent they are. So as EFF we are saying, we've built a toilet, and we continue daily as much as we can fundraise to say, no, we can't be having bucket system toilet in 2024. And there's a sewer system next to us. So we've got a solution. But the permanent solution for Alexandra is that people, they are there because of employment opportunities. Majority. Even if you move them to Brandfisher, they come back to Alex and rent out those houses in Brandfisher. Why is that? Because this person has been a garden boy or a domestic worker from where he can work or near factories, because Alex and Santin, they are a street apart. Most people, they don't even know that. So you've been working in Santin, working there. And now you are put in Brandfisher, you have to come and catch a transport. You have to wake up earlier than usual. So now all those expenses, they eat on your salary, and your salary hasn't increased. Hence people are renting out places in Brandfisher. And so as EFF was saying, we are going to create commercial zones. So you can't put people in an area and say, here's a residential area, while there is no nearby factories where they should be places for employment. First, you call and say, these are where we are going to create employment for our people. And after, when you've created employment, then you create residential areas. And people will happily move and go work, live where they can work. But if you put people in Orange Farm, there is no work area there. So people are living there. And the issues of shacks and informal settlements that the government does not see. Hey, us and Santin were a street apart, were serviced by the same government, same municipality. But have you ever seen a pothole in Santin? Have you ever seen a rat in Santin? No, they have been taken care of. But in Alex, it's just one of those forgotten areas. And how did Alex come about? It came about because apartheid wanted a working force next to their Santin. You wanted domestic workers and garden boy, and hence they put it there. ANC, instead of recognizing that this is an apartheid mentality for black people to suffer, can't we transform it? No. Even today, when you can say that, no, we need to have RDPs even in Santin. It will be black people who said, no, why should they be RDP there? It won't be those who live in Santin. Because we are saying we should integrate, because Santin is also our land. And Alexandra, it cannot be improved if we're not integrating our people.
I'm sure you also have a lot to say in response to that, Tefo, and I'll let you come in on that just after this break. Welcome back. We continue our panel discussion on the happenings in Alexandra Township. We've got Tefo, who's on the line from the ANC Zonal, who's the ANC Johannesburg Zonal Chairperson. Tefo, you've heard what Moshe has had to say. You've heard what Nkele has also had to say as well, that you were also involved in some of this as well. And I'd like you to respond and give you your right of reply to some of the allegations that have been posed to you too.
No. I think Moshe misquoted, or he doesn't understand. Yes, before I became one of the councillors in the city of Johannesburg, I used to work for the Lex Renewal Project. That's why I can proudly say the work that has been done by it. Yes, there were challenges. As I've noted, that any project will have its own challenges that have been noted and have been also highlighted by everybody to say, yes, there was this shortcomings there in the ARP, but that does not mean nothing was done. So what I'm saying, it's what is currently there on the ground. But we are not here to lecture and just say nice words for the sake of saying nice words. What we want to say is that in Johannesburg, there are over 130 informal settlements that are there. And the city of Johannesburg, even before and after this coalition government, the ANC has tried to make sure that we formalize the informal settlement and make sure that our people get the necessary services that are there. I can cite an example where you flighted it in your show, where Panyaza Lisufi came to Alex to launch the first of its kind microgrid solar panels in Amarasta village. That is the type of service and the type of commitment that we are making to our people, that yes, the pace that we are moving in might not be what we want, but there are services and the work that has been done on the ground to make sure that we formalize these informal settlements. And you must remember, migration into Johannesburg is one of the challenges. Every day, over 30,000 people come to Johannesburg. And I've said it before that the government has to chase after people to render services to them, because people have illegally and forcibly put themselves into those situations or those pockets of lands where people have invaded. So government is trying to make sure that at least when people are doing that, let's give them dignity, let's give them hope, let's give them those bucket systems, because obviously those areas were not formalized before. There is no township development. So we have to chase after our people with services because of the type of migration that we find in the city of Johannesburg.
Let me just come in there, Tefo. Let me just come in there, Tefo, just to stop you right there. You were saying that bring back dignity and hope in the same line that you're talking about, giving them bucket toilets. In 2024, how is bucket toilets and dignity used in the same sentence?
Unfortunately, if a person has invaded a piece of land, they use they use buckets to defecate and help themselves. So government obviously has to chase after them and give them services. And unfortunately, if the area is not formalized, there's no services there, there's no sewer pipes and whatever. Unfortunately, we have to render them the services through the bucket system that is there, unfortunately.
It's unacceptable, wouldn't you say that,
Tefo? That is not something that we like. That's why we are saying we are formalizing those townships. That's why I've noted that government is working to formalize those townships, because people and comrades like Moshe Mphahlele have been telling people to invade land. That's why he's quoting issues of building toilets where people have invaded land. So we're not talking of an ordinary situation in Alex, where people are using bucket system or VIP toilets for a lack of a better word. So it is informal settlements where government slowly but surely are working to make sure that they change the lives of our people for the better and give them services where people have invaded land. And unfortunately, it's the situation that we find ourselves. But the ANC is committing to ourselves, and it's one of their priorities. It says we must invest in our people. We must fast track and make sure that service delivery becomes the core mandate of every councillor and every activist of the ANC, making sure that our people get the necessary services that they deserve. Unfortunately, in informal settlement, it's a sad situation that we're dealing with, but it's nothing. It's something that we continue to work with. It's something that we continue to put an effort in making sure that those people get services. And the government of local unity in the city of Johannesburg is saying, let's formalize them. Let's put site and service. Let's put roads. let's put so that they can get the proper services that they deserve. That is the dignity that I'm saying, that we need to give them dignity. But in the pursuit of doing that, we will meet challenges. And some of those challenges, it is the pit latrines and the bucket toilets that we find that we are servicing them at the current moment.
So, therefore, you've heard his response as well. He's saying, Nkele, I mean, as a resident of Alexandra Township, you know, you should be experiencing better conditions if you're not living in an informal settlement. They've just had some mishaps and setbacks. There is a plan, and of course, it is also to restore the dignity of your people like yourselves and your neighbors as well. Do you believe him?
I don't believe him. Let me make a scenario. I live in a flat where I live. So it's one of those flats that were built long ago in the apartheid era. So I've been living there for 29 years. When we ask for a service as simple as water, at times, we're told that, who are you? You did not vote for me. That's number one. So when he says that in terms of service delivery, they are trying their best, I'm not understanding that, because it's like I am living in an informal settlement myself. As I said, I'm living in a flat. When we have an issue, for instance, maybe there's a pipe that bursted in that very same flat, we need to report it to the councillor. But the very same thing that we're getting from the councillor is, who are you? Did you vote for me? Remember, I contested elections as an independent in 2021. Therefore, that's what I'll be getting, to say, who are you? You did not vote for me. So if they say they are doing better, honestly, I'm not seeing they are better. 29 years living in that very same flat. We have to maintain our own flat. We have to make sure that if there's a pipe burst, we're the one that deals with it. Even my neighbors who do not work, if a pipe bursts, we have to make sure that we assist that neighbor. Why? Because automatically those flats, it's palisades that are in between our flats. So if the water pipe bursts, the water comes straight into the next room. So we have to assist. So what services are they giving in those places that are not informal? As he says that the informal people have brought themselves there, yes, it's fine, but what about us? And again, another question I have is that when they removed them back then and they took them where they took them, the thing was that why not demolish that place? They left it as is for people to come and live within it. So practically now they can't be playing the card of immigration, where else you have to demolish a place when you're seeing that you've removed people from it. Demolish it so that you make sure that no one comes within those premises. But instead, they left them there. And I've been growing with the shacks at the back of where I live, so I cannot even open a window. It's as much as that. I can't open a window. Imagine how that is. I cannot open a window. So I don't really understand what he's saying. I don't understand it at all.
You want to come in there, Moshe?
Now I'm saying that the first lying, purely. It's not economical with the truth, it's just lying.
But he's also saying that you as the EFF, the toilets that you speak of, the flushing toilets that you're building them in areas where you are encouraging people to invade land. What do you have to say about that?
Tell me what land to be invaded in Alexandra, because Alexandra is small. Yeah? There's no land that you can say, hey, this EFF has taken this land. The only land that we have in Alexandra is the one which is given to vets. And it's barricaded, it's under security. That's the only land that we have. But you don't have land in Alexandra. Inside Alexandra, you can't say you have land where there's a squatter camp or squatters. Because I live at 10th Avenue. Stadium is at 12th Avenue. Just next to the stadium, there's baggage system toilet on the street. They've been there my whole life. I was born there. I'm a third generation in Alexandra. So they've been there. And it's not a squatter camp or people came and squatter. They were always there. There's a double up out to 12th Avenue next to Alexandra. The only center we have in Alexandra and the only stadium we have in Alexandra, there are baggage system there. They've always been there. So you can't say that, no, people have squatted now, the government, they came in. Those baggage systems were there during the apartheid government where there was still black baggage system, black container baggage system. Even today, they're still now turning to some other tender, and it's still the same baggage system. So you can't tell us that ANC has done something in Alexandra. No, 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 no. We are the forgotten people. Actually, what has been done is that comrades like Tefo have been lining themselves up. They are there and protecting this thing so that people can keep on voting so that they can line themselves up. Right now, I've just had somebody who said, no, I was going to one of the construction area in Sandton, and I went there and said, no, I've got a construction company and I can help into 1, 2, 3. They said, no, you must talk to Tefo. And I said, Tefo, from what, 105, now is controlling construction in Sandton. How does that happen? You understand? So they say they can only speak through Tefo for him to have any service to have any service rendered there. So we understand that these people are aligning their pockets. Tefo, we were next door neighbor. I was at 10, he was at 9 Avenue. Have moved. Where does Tefo stays now? We don't know. But he's a councillor there. And he still keep on lining himself and said, we are improving and whatnot. And somebody somewhere, because this is a national TV, was about to believe that there's any change in Alexandra. In Alexandra, we are living with rats, literally. Rats are eating babies there. We've got so many cases of people dying because of rats, not because of health, like being eaten by rats. Old people are being eaten by rats. Babies are being eaten by rats. When you are drunk, you're risking to be eaten by rats. So, was it was street away from Sandton? Why there are no rats in Sandton? No, they've got mechanism to deal with rats. But in Alex, they don't want to deal with rats, the rats issue. And the only way to do this is for EFF to come into government, because we are the only government that cares about the black people, especially the marginalized, the economically excluded people, our people. That was our first priority as EFF, and we're going to turn around Alexandra. Thank you.
Before we close this discussion, I know that Tefo obviously has something to say, to jump in on what both Nkele and Moshe have had to say. Therefore, let's maybe start with, do you still live in Alexandra?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well. And the issues that have been raised about the living conditions that my guests who are here in the studio have raised, and as you've mentioned before, others as well have raised before, you are not new to this information. What do you have to say about that, particularly also the issue about the rats? I mean, you only need to go to Alexandra once to see the problem of the rats.
I think we need to clarify certain things. One, I do still live in Alex, proudly so, and I'm proud to stay in Alex. But yes, we are saying there are challenges, more particularly in terms of those who live in informal settlement. And I've said the ANC is quite explicit about that we need to make sure that we invest in our people, more especially around service delivery, in changing the lives of those people that live in those
Shouldn't you have already
areas.
changed them 30 years later, Tefo? Don't you think 30 years later you shouldn't be talking about plans, but implementations and things you've done?
I've said we've built 18,000 houses in Alex. There's extension 7, extension 10, extension 8. Yes, it might not be at the pace that we'd like, but 18,000 new housing opportunities in Alex. Not everybody, unfortunately, at this stage have gotten those houses, but there are those that the development has touched, and we can't say nothing has been done. We're saying, yes, then there's more that needs to be done. That's why we're saying continue to vote ANC so that we can continue to change the life of our people, citing the 18,000 houses that have been built, more especially only in Alex. I'm not talking about the entire South Africa. I'm zooming into Alex as a point of reference or point of discussion that we're dealing with right now. So yes, we want to change those people's lives. But as I've said, we will continue to make sure that our people are given dignity and they get the services that they deserve. But let's deal around the issues of rent. There is a program that was done in the city of Johannesburg to make sure that we curb the dirt and the hygiene problems that are there in Alex. You might remember and you must be cognizant that Alex is a very congested place. A very small place. And the challenges that we need is to say we need to decant Alex and send people to other areas so that people can have healthy and better living spaces where at least we can give them houses, but also make sure that they get the services that they solely deserve. So yes, there are programs that have been done. Currently, there is a red project that has been done to make sure that we teach people and we do awareness around how people must dispose of their garbage, because people obviously just dispose willy-nilly of their garbage on the streets, and that also in itself breeds these rats that are there.
Unfortunately,
so it is a social problem that we need to
I'm
deal
sorry,
with.
I'm going to have to cut you short there. We are running out
Thank you very much.
out of time. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you so much to my panelists who are also in studio. I saw a lot of head shaking that was going on here. So clearly this discussion needs to be extended as well. But thank you so much for joining us tonight on News at Prime. The news doesn't stop here. Katlego Msomi is up next with Newsfeed PM.